Good morning. So today we're doing day 3 of the BBE 6-week challenge. I'm feeling so good. The best part about having a program is having that accountability. So that accountability translates outside of the gym too, because like I said, we're destroying ourselves here to build ourselves out there. And as we build, we're also building other aspects of who we are, which I've been doing a lot of reading. So I really want to talk about the book that I'm reading right now, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So we'll talk about that a little bit through our session today, because it blew my mind. Today we're going to be starting with our RDLs, but I'm actually going to be supersetting our RDLs and our Landmine Rows. Just because, for fun, honestly, it's because it's more convenient. It's more convenient to do a superset right now, stay in the same space and be able to use the machine back and forth, give myself a break a little bit from my hamstrings. RPE today is going to be a little bit lower. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because it's still going to be around 8. I'm just going to push for a little bit higher reps. So let's get started. Single leg RDL. I'm doing the wrong leg. I wouldn't say there is or is not a wrong side, but I always do opposite arm, opposite leg. So the leg that's working is opposite from the hand that's holding the weight. Okay. I'm also coming all the way down with a plate, so I'm getting nice and low, really focusing on getting as much range of motion as possible. Keeping that back tight, core tight. If your core is not strong enough, you're gonna feel very unbalanced and you're gonna start to collapse on this exercise. So make sure that your core is nice and tight. That's why you gotta have that dynamic warm up. Okay. Let's take our break and then we'll do some landmine rows. When you go to gyms that have like an older demographic, I used to go to the YMCA and that had an older demographic. Those mofos will not sacrifice their machines for anything. And I remember so many times standing there and somebody would just be waiting behind me and I'd very kindly be like, "Can I help you?" And they'd be like, how many more do you have?" And I'd be like, 3 to 4 sets, a minute and a half rest each. You can do the math, like 5-6 minutes left on the machine. And I started saying to them, this is my passive aggressive. This is as aggressive as I'll be. I was like, what muscles are you trying to work? I can maybe help you find another machine or exercise so you don't have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12. That kind of hurt a little bit. Dude, but we got 12. What did I get last time? I got 10 last time. Look at us go. Hell yeah, brother. I feel like this music makes me transform into somebody else. Let's take a breaky break and then we'll go back to our single leg RDLs and then back to landmine rows. Okay, we got one more set of each. These feel good. These feel really good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to really concentrate on my form on these. Anytime I'm doing unilateral work, you wanna make sure that your form is impeccable on both sides. You don't want to reinforce any bad movement patterns, aka what's happening with my leg, okay? You don't want that to happen with you. So let's knock these out. I'm just talking because I'm just trying to distract myself from the fact these are gonna burn. Also, I'm gonna try to do these. I'm trying to show off a little bit. I'm gonna try to just balance with these because there's not anything great to hold on to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Let's do 2 more. 11. Oh. Almost lost that one. Okay, last side. 4, 3, 2, 1. That was nice. Nice and rough. Okay, let's do this. We'll take a break after. I'm telling you, the music changes you. Music changes you. Here we go. Like I said, I'm doing it. We're going. I got 10, I got 10, I got 12, I got 10. Let's see what we got. 1. Let's do 11. 11's good. That was good. Okay, today's workout, we have landmine rows and single leg RDLs that we're gonna be supersetting this time. Last time we did our pull day, we did not superset, but this time we will, out of convenience sake. We're gonna be doing 3 sets each. We're going to be doing 10 to 12 for each. Also, let's go over RDL form real quick. When you're performing an RDL, you're gonna keep a slight bend in your knees, but you're never gonna be bending too much. What we want to see in an RDL is the stretching of your hamstring as much as possible. Again, every exercise that we're doing, we're trying to stretch the muscle is working as much as possible in order to create as much opportunity for hypertrophy, okay? So we're gonna stretch our hamstrings when we're doing these. We're also stretching our glute. So this is one of the hinge movements that we're incorporating with glute, so that we hit glute from every angle. So when we hinge over, our knees are slightly bent. You never wanna be locked out. You're not gonna be locked out. First of all, if you feel like you look awkward, it's probably because you're doing something that might be a little awkward, okay? So you're gonna keep a slight bend and your booty goes back. I always think about almost like my weight shifts into my heels. I'm reaching my butt back as far as I can as my head pushes this way as far as I can. So I'm always trying to create more balance but counter my weight. So I'm moving, my hips go back, my head goes forward, my chest is up, and my back is straight. If you can't go all the way down, like 90 degrees parallel with the ground for an RDL, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you're not going past the point where you're rounding, because that's just gonna throw off all your form. So keep your booty up, keep pushing back, and keep trying to keep this as straight as you can, but not fully locked. Okay, we're gonna go over the Landmine Row form real quick. So when we're doing these on this machine in particular, or any landmine, you're going to always have to lean back a little bit more because you're countering that weight. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see, but with our hip hinge movement, we're almost in that same hip hinge position where we're leaning back, weighting our heels, so that weight is gonna be pulling us forward. So the single leg RDL and the bent over row really mimic that sensation of countering your weight with something in front of you. So you're gonna make sure that your legs are nice and wide. If you're doing this, you're gonna have to base your stance on the platform. When you do bent over rows, your stance is nice and wide. The wider your base, the more stable you are, and then you can pull more weight. If you're too narrow, you're gonna be very unbalanced. So nice and wide. I like to be about 45-degree angle. If you feel like you're coming up too much, you're gonna start shrugging. You're gonna start using your upper back. So make sure you're leaned over enough to utilize your other back muscles. Is there drama going on? Oh my God. Okay, so let's go on. I think we have, okay, next up we're gonna do some cable kneeling high rows that we're not gonna superset, but we are gonna do only 2 sets of, so we're gonna make sure that they're good. I'm gonna show you how to do these with one hand, and I'm gonna show you how to do these with both hands, because you can kind of isolate and fix a little bit of imbalances again if you start to use unilateral work, or if you're struggling to really feel a contraction, you can use unilateral work. Oh, why do I feel like, will you marry me? No, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna do this thing will be nice though. We are going to be doing a single arm cable high row. I love this for really accessing and contracting that lower lat. So your lats come down almost like wings. Like they come down and peak right here. So what we want to do is when we contract, we're going to be pulling. I like to do opposite leg, opposite arm, same thing as RDLs. So I'm going to be a little bit more stable. Whatever my working arm is going to be opposite from the leg that's up. When I pull, I'm pulling down towards my hip. So I'm kind of scrunching down a little bit, but I'm not scrunching forward, okay? I'm scrunching. Scrunching is a funny word. I'm coming down towards my hip, almost just leaning over slightly. I wish you could see, maybe you can see, so if I'm here, I'm pulling here. Okay, so I'm reaching again, we're elongating, and we're pulling in and contracting nice and deep. I can feel it deep in here, and I'm gonna release all the way back up. So there's a little bit of a twist happening. We're gonna go high reps with this one. We're gonna do 12 to 14. We're just gonna do 2 sets. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this unilaterally so that I can really make sure that I'm contracting evenly on both sides. And I think the weight should be good. Let's go for it. I like to really squeeze at the bottom and try to keep that hand low. So try to bring it nice and low. 13, I think. Good, take it nice and slow. Switch arms, switch hands, switch arms. 11. Last one. Okay, ooh, let's take a breaky break. We got one more set, but we're gonna go up. Again, if it's hard on your joints, keep the rep ranges high. If it's gonna be tough on the joints, keep the rep ranges high. Remember, the RP and the RIR is gonna be more important to me than the reps, or the amount, except if it's under 6. So many rules, but you got it. Take your time. I don't like rush sets, especially with back, because it's already hard to train muscles you can't see. So take your time to feel your contraction. Last 2. Oh, this feels good for 12. If you'll count my reps and it's wrong, just pretend it never happened, okay? Ooh. I don't feel the same contraction on this side, so I'm waiting until I can feel that contraction before releasing. 3, stretch, 2, last one. Okay, new rule. You start with your weaker side. Or not, you just freaking push for it. RP on my right was like a 12. That's it for our cable kneeling high rows. That was a tough one. We're gonna go, oh my God, we're gonna do lat pull down. We're gonna use a machine, my favorite machine. Then we got 2 more things. We only got hyper extensions after and cable crunches, and that's it. So let's go knock out some wide grip lat pull down. Okay, so we did wide grip lat pull down with the cable during our first pull day. So today I'm gonna show you how to use this machine, which is the wide grip lat pull down machine. I know that you're never gonna have, in a perfect world, you'd have the same equipment every single time and you'd be doing the exact same thing. The thing is that your body does not know what exercise you're doing. Okay, so it's important for you to know that there are other ways to work the same muscles, even if that machine or that equipment is unavailable. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna use this one. I actually prefer this one because you aren't using both hands at the same time, so you really get to give full advantage to each arm to do its own work instead of almost like having your dominant arm pull more than the other or dominant muscles pull more than the other. This is towards the end of the workout, so my fatigue is a little bit higher, so I'm expecting around 10 to 12 reps, but I know that it's going to be lighter than I usually would do than at the beginning of my workout. Like a 10 RPE, I can do 70 pounds on each side and around 10 reps. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the amount of weight to around 45 to account for some fatigue, and it's okay if I end up doing more reps. I'd rather do more reps towards the end of my workout than put way too much weight and then already be really fatigued and then potentially hurt myself. You know what boss energy is being in control, even of the weights. There's nothing more satisfying than being able to handle the same weight that somebody else can, but with more elegance and grace. You know what I mean? I also kind of turn my hands in. I don't keep my hands like perfectly out. I keep my hands almost at a 45 when I pull down. It's a little bit more comfortable in the joints. Again, going off of RPE, I think it was 12-ish. When I do these, I think about pulling down and thinking about almost like if I was gonna connect my elbows behind me, because if you think about that, you're going to push your chest out slightly or lean back a little bit, and it's gonna allow you to really contract deeper into your lat, okay? Okay, we got one more set though. And my guesstimation on the weight was precise. Okay, last set. I feel good about these. Stretch it out, homie. This is your time to rest. This is the best part of the exercise, the stretch. 1, 3 plus. This, if you want to feel like a badass, if you want to feel like a boss bitch, do this machine. It makes you feel like a freaking transformer. It makes me feel like I'm using heavy machinery. 2 more. Nope, that's it. Ah, beautiful. Guess what, baby girl? We got hyperextensions and cable crunches, and then guess what? We are dunsies for todaysies. We got 2 sets of kneeling crunches and we got 2 sets of hyperextensions. Again, these two don't have, I mean, they do have something to do with each other because you are the main factor here, but one is not gonna really affect the other. So if you can't get to the hyperextension machine now, go ahead and do core and then come back to hyperextensions, or vice versa, go do your hyperextensions and then do your core. The order of the exercises between the last 2 exercises are interchangeable, so you have a little wiggle room. Hyperextensions, no. What we're gonna do is wipe down our machines, and we're gonna teach the people around us to do so by being a role model. Welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. Okay. Okay, so talking about people being unpredictable in the gym, it's kind of like roid rage, but it's like pre-workout. So pre-workout just makes, like, you start just word vomiting and like being a little bit crazy because pre-workout is just too much. One time I was at the YMCA, again, we're bringing up the YMCA. I was at the YMCA and this man stops me before I go up the stairs. And I was probably like 18, 19, 20, maybe. This man, a man. He had to be at least in his 30s. Stops me. He was handsome, but I've seen him before. Stops me at the beginning of the stairs and goes, I just had to tell you. You could tell that he's on one with the pre-work. And he goes, I just had to stop you. I had to tell you that you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. It's like disgusting. It like hurts. And I'm like, what? What's happening? And then it was just super awkward. I didn't want it to be awkward after that, but it was just awkward because every time I'd see him, I'd be like, I know that I disgust you, so I don't know what to do. Anywho, we're gonna do back extensions. We're gonna do these weighted. Today's sets are a little bit less, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase the weight on this last one for our lower back. You want this right at your hips where your hips bend. So right where that hip is. If you were gonna do this to have it more hamstring and glute, then you would be rounding over and pulling up this way, using your glutes and your hamstrings. So you'd be pressing your hips into the pad and rounding your back. But we're gonna be doing this for lower back, so we're gonna be arching. 7. This is gonna teach you to keep your chest up when you walk into a room. Head up, chin up. Last 2. Last 1. Ow! One more set, and then we're gonna do some crunches. This is my personal opinion, but it's also the opinion of pretty much any man I've interacted with since over the past year. I think back is the new booty. I think that having a sexy back and a sculpted back and a muscular back is so much sexier than anything else. And it also helps you with your poise. I feel like you look so much more poised when you have a strong back. So that's on that. You know what else is, I think, the best is this little dip right here. Being able to produce that, I feel like also gives your back so much shape. Okay, last set. 1. Okay. Woo. We're done with that. Last thing is, I'm dizzy. Last thing is cable crunches. We're gonna do that on the machine. Easier said than done. Let's go knock these out. Don't get lazy on your core. The last thing we're doing are cable crunches. I'm not doing them on the cable. I'm using the cable crunch machine. I picked cable crunches again because, again, we're really trying to stretch out those abs before we contract, right? So our Turkish sit-ups that we did yesterday were specifically for strengthening our whole core, making sure that we're gonna be nice and strong for overhead lifts, working on that lower back mobility, working on that shoulder mobility. This one is gonna be specifically stretching out that muscle, those abs, and contracting down. So I really want you to utilize this guy, or if you're doing them on the ground, or if you're bending over, you're making sure that you're arching your back so you're stretching out your abdomen as much as possible before you contract. So here we go, ladies and gents. We're gonna shoot for 14 to 16. I wanna keep it a little bit higher reps on this one. I usually go pretty heavy. So I'm gonna go a little bit lighter, shoot for a little bit more reps. 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13. There's also a good moment to note that, like, if you do record yourself in the gym, if you're somebody who records yourself in the gym, be mindful the fact that you are recording in a gym. Like, David and I are very much well aware that we're prioritizing everybody else's workout before our videography situation, so our video setup. So always keep in mind that people are here to train, not to be in your video, not to whatever. If people want to be in the video, that's great, but make sure you're mindful of other people. Alrighty, last set. Before we do our last set, you are making sure that you're following on Instagram, making sure that you're keeping up with any recipe ideas, making sure your food is as unprocessed as possible, making sure that you're feeding yourself in the same way. Because remember, here we're only tearing down muscle, we're building muscle outside of the gym. So you're not building in here, you're tearing it down. We're in demolition mode in here. So you're doing all of that. Make sure you're going on Instagram. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. If you need help with your macros, if you need help with the program, if you have any questions, equipment you don't have, you need to swap out exercises, just let me know. That's what I'm here for. I'm your coach. It's you and me, baby. It's you and me. But other than that, let's finish this last set, and then you'll be on your way to prioritizing yourself the rest of the day. Last one. I'm stuck. 16. That was fun. I had a blast. That was a blast. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our third workout of the week. Only one more left. Let's see. How long was this workout? So for core, I have 3 sets of cable crunches. So we did the 2 sets of hyperextensions, and we added some weight, and then this one for the cable crunch is going to be 3 sets. Remember, if you need this program, the whole program is down in the description. I also have a link for you to download I have the whole program already for you in a Google Sheet, because again, who's your coach? I got you. So go ahead and download that if you haven't. That way you can track all your stats, your whole workout, etc., etc. Aside from that, ladies, I am going to see you guys on Instagram. We're gonna go get some food in. I'll be posting about what I'll be eating, because we gotta make some gains. My abs are feeling tight. My abs are feeling tight right now. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow for our last push day of the week. Love you guys. Bye.